Today's lesson is about dividing fractions. Our goals today are to define and give examples and non-examples for the word reciprocal, and students will be able to determine how to use a reciprocal to divide fractions. We're going to start with a story problem today. You bought 4 pints of ice cream from Ben & Jerry's for your party. You plan on serving each friend about 2/3 of a pint. How many servings can you dish out? So we're going to start by solving this using our diagram here. So here's the 4 pints of ice cream that I bought. If each person gets 2/3 of a pint, how many people will be able to get some? So go ahead and, if you want to pause the video and see if you can draw a picture of this and determine how many people, and then unpause to see what I do. So here was my strategy. First of all, I divided my pints into thirds, and then I knew that each person got 2 of the thirds. So I put person 1 got these 2/3, person 2 got these, person 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then I can see that I will have 6 servings of ice cream, or I can give ice cream to 6 people. Now, how do we figure this out as a multiplication or division problem? Well, I want to look at this over here, and we're going to put in what we know and put X or a box for what we don't know. So number of groups times the amount in each group will tell us how much we have in all. So let's see what we know from our story problem. We have 4 pints in all, so I'm going to actually put that over here. We're going to give each person 2/3 of a pint, so that's actually the amount in each group. And then the question is, our box is how many groups or how many people can we serve? So you can see this as a multiplication problem. X times 2/3 equals 4. But now remember that division is just the opposite of multiplication, just like subtraction is the opposite of division. So we could also rewrite this as 4 divided by 2/3 equals X. And so later on we will learn how to divide numerically, but for now we see that that's 6 servings. But when you're done with today's lessons, go on back to this page, and I want you to solve this numerically and see if you get the same answer. Alright, so reciprocal. First I want you to think about this. What would you multiply all of these numbers by to equal 1? So kind of what would cancel out 1/3, or what would be the opposite of 1/3, so that when you multiplied it would equal 1? If you want to pause and think about that for a minute, go ahead and do that. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and show you. So I know that to equal 1, if the numerator and denominator are the same, that equals 1. So if I multiply this by 3 over 1, 1 times 3 is equal to 3, and 3 times 1 is equal to 3, and 3 over 3 would be the same as 1. Over here, same thing. If I want to equal 1, and I'm talking about 11s, I want it to equal 11 over 11. So we'll do 1 times 11, and then 11 times 1. So 1/11 times 11 over 1 is going to equal 11 over 11, and that is equal to 1 because we multiply our numerators and our denominators. Now how about these whole numbers? What would I multiply 5 by to equal 1? Well, it's the same idea. Let's write 5 as a fraction. Remember, 5 as a fraction is 5 over 1. So the opposite of that would be 1 over 5. 5 times 1 is 5, 1 times 5 is 5, and 5 over 5 equals 1. Go ahead and try this one on your own. You can pause the video, see if you're right. Alright, so 32, remember, write that as a fraction over 1 times 1 over 32 equals 32 over 32, and that's equal to 1. Well, what we've just done here is these are called reciprocals, and that word looks like this. And of course, everything that I'm doing, you should be doing in your packet as well. A reciprocal is when you just flip the numerator and the denominator upside down. And then when you multiply a number by its reciprocal, it will always equal 1. And so we're going to be using that today as we divide. And in math, a lot of times we do inverse relationships. That means the opposite. So if you do kind of the opposite of an opposite, that will keep things equal or the same. So let's go down to 10. Let's see how we actually divide these fractions. Now, I have a little rhyme that I'll do with you in class tomorrow, but basically it's this. First fraction times the reciprocal of the second, then we slide and multiply. Slide and multiply. So let me show you what that looks like. When we divide, we take the first fraction. That's going to stay the same. So we're going to bring that down here. Then the opposite of division is multiplication. So as I rewrite this problem, I am going to multiply instead of divide. Then I need to take the reciprocal of the second number. Since I did the opposite of division, I kind of need to do the opposite or inverse of 2 in order to make this work. So the first step is we need to write this as a fraction. So I'm just going to go ahead and put that as 2 over 1. So first fraction times the reciprocal of the second. So you can see my arrows here. And we're going to find the reciprocal of 2 over 1. We're just going to flip them and do 1 over 2. Then we just slide and multiply the top and slide and multiply the bottom. So you can see this is actually just like multiplication, where we can't leave numbers as whole numbers or mixed numbers. We have to rewrite it as fractions. We multiply our numerators and denominators. We're going to simplify this to 1/3. Exactly the same, except we have one extra step. We need to write it as a multiplication problem by taking the first fraction, changing division to multiplication, and the reciprocal of the second. So let's try and practice a few of these. Let's write this out. Why don't you write it with me together? First fraction times the reciprocal of the second. So write that down so you have something to look at. So here we go. First fraction is 1/2. We're going to times instead of multiply. And we're going to flip around 3/4. So we have 4 over thirds. Now you can still use that cross simplification. So let's simplify 4 and 2. Divide by 2 is 1. Divide by 2 is 2. Then we're going to slide and multiply the top, just like we did the other day. And 1 times 3 is 3. This is simplest form. Go ahead and try the next few on your own if you feel comfortable. If not, you can go ahead and do some more with me. All right, so the next example, again, first fraction times the reciprocal of the second. So our first fraction is 1/2. The opposite of division is multiplication. And the inverse or opposite of 3/4 is 4/3. So you can see my arrows. I simply flip around the 3/4. Now we have a multiplication problem, which we know how to do. 1 times 4 is 4. 2 times 3 is 6. Always simplify your answer. And 4/6 is equal to 2/3. All right, next problem, 5/6 divided by 1/4. So first fraction times the reciprocal of the second. The first fraction is 5/6 times, instead of divide, the reciprocal of 1 over 4 is 4 over 1. Now I kind of am out of room to solve that, as you can see, but 5 times 4 is 20. 6 times 1 is 6. Now let's change that to a mixed number. 6 goes into 20 3 times. That gives us 2 6 left over, or 3 1/3. Sorry about that. All right, let's try this next one. And again, if you haven't paused the video yet and tried some on your own, do that, and then you can unpause and see how you did. So again, first fraction times the reciprocal of the second. And reciprocal is, again, just flipping that numerator and denominator. 3/5 divided by 1/5. The first fraction is 3/5 times, instead of divide, flip your 5 and your 1, and that's going to give you 5 over 1. Now we recognize this as a multiplication problem. 3 times 5 is 15. 5 times 1 is 5. and 5 goes into 15 3 times. First fraction times the reciprocal of the second. First thing we need to do, just like with multiplying, is we need to change this to a fraction. So I'm going to change that to 3 over 1. So first fraction is 7/9 times the reciprocal of 3 over 1 is 1 over 3. Now we're ready to multiply. I can't cross simplify. I forgot to look for that here, so watch out for that. Here I could have divide by 5 was 1, divide by 5 was 1, and that would have saved me a little bit of simplifying. But anyways, so I can't cross simplify for this one. 7 times 1 is 7, 9 times 3 is 27, and this is in simplest form. All right, and then 15. Again, first step is you need to change both of these to fractions. So 1 and 1/2 would be 2 times 1, 3/2. So I'll just cross this out. So it's really 3/2 divided by 1/2. First fraction, 3/2 times, instead of divide, the reciprocal of 1/2, 2 over 1. 3 times 2 is 6. 2 times 1 is 2. And 2 goes into 6 3 times. All right, so that concludes this video. All of these pages were in your probability packet that I gave you today. So tomorrow, to be ready for tomorrow, I would like you to do about 5 minutes of IXL practice on dividing fractions so that you feel comfortable when you come to class tomorrow. We will do the next page of your packet together in class. Good luck on your computer practice.